Hey, it's Dave Knight here at YouTube only right now. Although I am working on to put together Dave Knight Trading. I believe that will be the website that I will eventually transfer my information and knowledge to at some point in the
Potential
future.
TX on MQ.
I'm using Apex Investing's sniper system, I guess. I've been playing around with it for about, this is for you, Kip, 10 minutes. That's just a suggestion, though. Just a suggestion. I don't hold myself to 10 minutes. This is a bonus video for the week because it was an easy day for me.
Potential TX on MQ.
I had this is my screen print that I did today.
Trapped orders with exhaustion box on
5-minute
MQ.
chart with candlesticks. We're going to go over the trade decision that I made today. I had 2 trades, 2 wins. Let's just pull it over here. So I'm working my way to PA9. And I'm satisfied with the day right now because it's an up
Potential
day.
TX on MQ.
It's a big up day, actually. We've made new highs on the NASDAQ before it trailed off. And I'm happy with myself that I waited.
Trapped orders with exhaustion box on MQ.
You know that I like to be a short side, dark side trader, those that have been following me over the years. So I had to wait for my setup to come in, and I had to be extremely patient to take advantage of it. So we're going to go over my 2 entries today. We'll find them on the charts, and we'll talk about what I liked about them. I like the second one better than the first, by the way, but the first one was good. Anyway, so you can see my failures here. 67, 68, and I'm in 69, and I'm holding off on spending money on 70. And I probably will delete these 2 accounts here because Apex has till July 31st, they have an 80% off, 80%. So I'll probably get rid of 67. I don't really want to get rid of 67 and 68. I
Potential
failed on them.
TX on MQ.
So, and I'm trying to stay away from buying number 70, but I will probably before July 31st and the Apex sell comes off. So right now they got a sell on 80% off, save 80 on your EA evaluation account, and they have 80% off on the subscription cost, which is pretty standard right now.
Potential TX on MQ.
At Apex, at least for over the last 6, 7, 8 months since I've been watching it. I moved to Apex in March of last year.
Trapped
so
orders with exhaustion box on
I've
MQ.
been with them about a year and 3-4 months right now. In that time, I've been able to get into the PA account.
Potential TX on MQ.
That's called performance account, 8 separate times, but I failed every one of them. To be honest right now, TBH, I have spent more money at Apex than I've made. I basically need to withdraw at this point in time 2 times at 2,000 a pop, and that will get me a little above break even, about $500-600 right now, coming into the end of this
Trapped orders
year.
with exhaustion
So
box on MQ.
I still have a chance to turn this year around. Last year
Potential elevator on MQ.
was a losing year for me overall as a day trader. And it was my first losing year that I had in several years. Before that, I was at Top Step and I'm just talking day trading only right now. We're not talking about anything beyond that. I mean, I'm doing okay in like my accounts and other places that is not a day trading realm. For instance, it doesn't matter, because this is what we're talking about, day trading. This is what I've concentrated my effort at online at YouTube. Nothing other than that. So I mean, you know that I have some real estate holdings and whatnot from family and whatnot. So and I am on
Potential
a sabbatical from work right now due to a medical condition that I've been fighting. So I am going to be coaching football coming this year. Maybe be my last year to coach. I'm thinking about hanging up my coaching shoes at the end of this season. I kind of want to see these kids off that I coached last year
Potential TX on
that
MQ.
are soon to be eighth graders. So I got a junior high squad. I'm hoping to get a team of about 20. It's a single A squad. It's only like 50, 60 boys in a class at single A. Um, so it's a very small school. Trying to get kids to play or have a competing sport with soccer, and obviously those are just too lazy to get out because they're got their
Draft
thumbs
orders
going
with
with their
exhaustion
phones, right?
box on ES.
And too lazy to come out and play a sport. And some obviously are not physically able to. So let's not pretend I don't understand that as well. But there's some lazy people in this generation that are coming up right now. I didn't teach my boys that way, and hopefully you as a parent don't teach your kids, try to get them off the gaming system as often as you can. I know that I get a crutch to my phone, wherever the hell I put it lately. I have a crutch on my phone, right? And I find myself playing phone games for money sometimes, and that's frustrating too, because I don't. It's a time wasting occupation, right? I've traded my TV. Growing up, I said I never had no TV in my room, but this is effective a TV right now, right? You can watch live streams, YouTube. You can spend hours on. It just you name it, you can do it here. All right, so like I said, suggestion kit today. 10 minutes of suggestion. I'll probably go over. I get kind of
Potential SLZ on
it's
MQ.
the beauty of having ADD is you never know where you're going to go
Potential
next.
TBS on MQ.
I was out walking yesterday and I was trying to come up with some thought process, and the whole time I was walking, my mind was helter skelter everywhere.
TBS on MQ.
Um, and it's getting, I hate to say it's getting worse, but it is getting worse with older age. Um, it is what it is. All right, so let's talk about the trade setup today, and let's look at the trades. All right, so this is the 5-minute chart I'm pulling over, and we want to go back and look at the daily chart to start with. This is what I start my day with. I'm coming into the morning at 9:30, updating my charts and whatnot. I use this spreadsheet specifically to find out where I need to put my 2/3 stops or my full stop in the market, which was 19 if I wanted to go 19, and 34 was my target point that I was going with today. And you'll notice I had 68 ticks. I call it ticks, or 680. If you take 340 times 2, obviously you come up with 680. So I hit my profit target twice today, 34 ticks. That was my, and this is based upon a concept. This spreadsheet is based upon a concept. It's pretty simple. You go back 9 days, open, high, low, close. I'll show you this so you can set it up yourself if you care to do it. Basically, all I do is I go back. Right now, I'm going back 9 trading days, and it's based upon 3, 6, and 9. Tesla, GAN, a lot of these traders out there talked about this. So what the purpose of this is to come what's called getting an average trading range, average true range, average
Potential
ADR.
TBS on
I call it
MQ.
ADR. It's average daily range of it. So the most important concept that I hold to as a trader is called ADR, average daily range. Knowing what a full 1R, this is a concept that was taught by Van Thart, by the way. What is your 1R? What do you want to risk as a 1 unit risk? And the spreadsheet is telling me that 1 unit of risk was basically 19 ticks today. That's all based upon just taking open, high, low, close over 9 trading days. Looking back, I've come back to 9 trading days as my because of the 369 concept that Nikola Tesla talked about. You can solve the world's problems in 3, 6, and 9. So I should say I've done a video on that. You can probably search it on my YouTube channel. I think it's called Tesla and GAN. What do they have in common? So if you want to go dive into a deep hole for a while, go down that road for a while. But basically what you're looking at is looking back at 9 trading days. That's really only thing I'm using this spreadsheet for, is looking what is my average daily range and what is my 1.5 P that I'm looking at, target related on the charts itself. So today I actually set up 17 and 34. We'll talk about that in a minute. 17 is the recommended amount on the NASDAQ at Sniper when I went through their trading. So, and I like to trade 2 contracts on the NASDAQ. That gets me $10 a tick, like I used to trade with my crude oil futures account. And obviously I popped that 10-minute window. So we're going to make this probably, God only knows, it's a suggestion only now. So as I haven't even showed my trades yet. I just, anyway, so Van Tharp's main concept right now is what you got to define your R. And he talks about it in his book, Trade Your Way to, what is it called? Trade Your Way to Financial Freedom. One of my favorite all-time trading books right now. It's in my back right here. Some of my books that I keep on track right here are, I got Think and Grow Rich back here, Technical Analysis, Candlestick Course, Trading in the Shadow of the Smart Money. That's Gavin Holmes' book, but it's really a concept that Tom Williams developed. So some of the guys that I watch, Tom Williams, all these guys, my God, they're all basically all dead now, with the exception of Larry Williams, I believe, that I followed. Now I'm getting to be the old man. Jesse Livermore concept, the only safe money is money you pull from the market. Basically what you're looking at on daily chart right now is we made a new high. Looking back on the days, June 16th, we went up above the, was it 15,470 something? Let's see, what was the high of that day? High was 15,475 and a half, and today's high, current high of trading high, is 15,507. I watched it come back to here, and I didn't start my trading until we crossed underneath this level, went back up, and then I started taking it on. I believe that's how the first trade I might have pushed it from here to get to it, but I know my second trade was definitely after it moved up and then taking it back down for a little bit. So using past information to make trading decisions, very important. When you can look back to the left, you can't look to your right, right? So right. You can't look to your right because that's future. But you can look back to your left and see what has gone on, and maybe there is some sticking point out there that traders in the past have looked at and said, hey, look at this.
Trapped orders with exhaustion box.
As you're looking at information back on your charts, day is more important, especially as a day trader. A day is more important than a 10-minute or a 5-minute or a 1-minute or an hourly or a 4-minute or a 4-hour or 1 hour, you name it.
Potential TX on MQ.
The day is, that's as far as I look back. Now I'll look at the weekly and yearly and whatnot, but for the most part, what I'm looking at, monthly is very seldomly do I look at monthly. The furthest I go up in range is looking at the dailies. That's where I always want to know what is going back in the left, and is there any hang-ups or catch-ups that we can look back and say, hey, there's a point that could be a point that we could go to before it proceeds to go its direction that it was planning on going anyway. Think about the open range at that point
Potential
in time
TX on ES.
and closing the gap.
Potential double TX on ES.
So closing the gap is still a very potent trade when you see the market, in this case at 9:30, it was opened up high, And to close the gap, you had to get below this level here to close the
Potential
gap,
effects
if you
on
think about
MQ.
closing the gap. So closing the gap is a concept that used to be more prevalent than is today, because now we have 24-hour, basically 24-hour markets with a couple minutes closing. Before, they used to close and reopen and whatnot, and not open the next day. So closing the gap was a more important strategy maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago. So anyway, but it still is potent. It still works, closing the gap. Look back and do some studies and research on YouTube, and you'll find other traders that'll talk about closing the gap and trading into
Potential
a
effects on
perceived
MQ.
gap in the market. It has a tendency to seek its own level.
Trapped
That's
orders with exhaustion box on MQ.
really good concept that actually seeking its own level. Water basically seeks its own level. If you think about it, the wave comes back
Potential
to a
effects on
level
RVY.
that's basically where it was before. The
Potential
wave will
elevator
come
on
back and
MQ.
whatnot. So we've talked about a little bit of everything, and we haven't really talked about my trade setup.
Potential
So
effects on MQ.
this was the dailies. We need to move back to the 5-minute chart so I can show you the trade setup I like the most. I didn't get started to the 10:30 mark. So basically, get my screen draw tool out. 9:30 is here.
Trapped orders with exhaustion box on MQ.
10:30 is about
Elevator
there.
on MQ. Trapped orders with exhaustion box on RVY.
I caught this trade right there, and then I caught this trade right there. That was my two setups. Actually, I caught this trade. Second trade I talked about being below a certain level. I was on the safe side. I waited for 2 red bars to print, and I took the third trading bar down. The first one I took right at the 10:30 mark, second going to third. Was able to pull out 34 ticks times 2 times, and I was in an up day. So you got to be very careful when you're trading in ups, because I lost most of my accounts that I have lost are me trying to go short against the long. And I've had to be a lot more disciplined in my trading decisions to take on that short now. Taking on a short and an up is a very dangerous thing. You need some proof. You need some at least that's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it now. You need to see
Potential
something
elevator
happen
on
in the
MQ.
market before you get involved in it. I basically have looked for 5 minutes on a big green day. You can see it's big green day looking back at 8:30.
Potential effects on MQ.
When you're looking at the 8:30 mark and you're looking right now.
Trapped orders with exhaustion box on MQ. Elevator on MQ.
That's a nice up, right? Wave situation, you're looking at this. I mean, physically it could come down back into here perhaps, and then go back, or it's just going to settle in this area or settle up here. I don't really know what it's going to do. I'm not in the know. I have no idea. I can just follow and look back left and see where traders found areas of support and resistance, right? And then there's this big move that happens prior to the open outcry.
Potential
and here's your
effects on
gap,
MQ.
right? There's a gap here, and then this is trading. You're moving, so the market physically could come back down into here to close the gap. So
Potential
closing the
effects
gap,
on MQ.
trying to take a trade that's going with or against momentum, in this case, of the up, trying to come back and close that gap back down here. Anyway, so there was my 2 trade setups. Let's look physically at the trades themselves and what I liked about them, and we'll wrap up this video. So I believe my first trade came straight at 10:30. Let me pause and get to the trade. All right, so remember let's get that 5-minute chart over, and then let's talk about when I got involved in it and so forth and so on. Now I talked about, let's get the screen draw tool. I talked about this being my first trade setup, coming down, and I was waiting for the bar the form before I got involved. This was the trade that I got involved. You can see the little, hopefully you can see that pink little thing right there. So that's my trade that I got involved with. Time related, it was 10:32 roughly. And I took on this trade, and we're going to look back at the 10:30 mark. We're basically right in here. We already had a red bar form, and we're trading
Potential
second
TBS on
and the
RVY.
third bar. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so looking back, I see that we attempted, let's get this thing here. I can see that we attempted this level several different times, right? We tried to hit it here, we tried to hit it here, we hit it here 3 times, 4th time through, right? Here's a GAN concept. I keep the same basic trading strategy over and over again. GAN 4th time through, William Delbert GAN, taking
Potential
on
TBEX
4th time
on
through
ES.
an area, right?
Potential double
Looking for it
TBEX
to
on
break
ES.
through a formula or a perceived place that had found support. It found support on 3 separate occasions. They bought, and therefore let's clear out all those buy orders. That's basically what they're doing here. The traders see that there's an area of support that traders are trying not to get stopped by, and they run it. So it's called running stops, right? So they ran stops here, stops here, stops here, running stops. GAN 4th time through, running stops. And you can go back and look at some of my top 10 trade setups, and running stops is one of them. A lot of traders have talked about Dr. Barry Burns, Joe Ross, you name it, Larry Williams, they've all talked about running stops. And like I said, it doesn't take long or much to win. So 34 ticks in the market, actually 30, is that 30? Yeah, 34 tick move was basically just this move right here. And you can see I'm already out.
Potential
I'm out
TBEX
off on
on
this bar right
MQ.
here as it crosses over. So 34 ticks times 10 on 2 contracts, $340. All right, let's stop the video here, and I'll go to my second trade setup. Okay, so we talked about the second trade setup. Let's pull that 5-minute chart back over. And the second trade setup, I talked about this move right here. Actually, what I knew, I didn't know any of this back here. I believe I knew this right here, and this was the
Potential
trading area
TBEX
that I
on
took advantage
MQ.
of. And we're going to look at the trade setup itself, which we were looking at that area on the daily chart. Remember that daily chart setup we were looking at for it to get back and above? It hit it here, went back up, and broke through. So that was the
Trapped
trade
orders with
setup
exhaustion
that I
box
was
on
looking at. I was
MQ.
looking for it to attempt that daily level to start with. This is what's this move right here.
Potential TBEX on MQ.
And the second trade setup that we talked about as breaking that daily level and finding some area
Potential TBEX on ES.
of support
Potential
below
double
this level.
TBEX on ES. Potential TBEX on MQ.
Well, 24 minutes. Wow, did I pop that cherry there, Kit? 10 minutes. Like I said,
Potential TBEX
suggestion.
on RVY.
Suggestion only. Anyway, I had a lot that I want to talk about today, and I'm just wanted to go over some things that I felt comfortable with sharing to you as traders. So now we've seen the 5-minute setup. This printed and this was
Trapped
printing
orders with exhaustion box on
when I took on the
RVY.
trade.
Trapped orders with exhaustion box on MQ.
Physically, let's find the entry point. It's to the right a little bit. I'm watching the market set up here. We've already said it went up, and now we're going back to that daily level that we're looking at, the 470, and we're looking for it to get involved after it breaks through that second time, right? So I'm watching it, watching it, watching it, watching it. Still, I believe I'm still watching it here. I'm still watching it here. It broke through. See, it broke through. That could have been a nice trade setup, by the way. But anyway, I believe my area, there's my setup. I waited for this to happen. You're looking at a wave pattern. Failure point. It coming back to the level on that daily chart, right? It already broke through, went down to 61. Therefore, you're thinking, well, it has an opportunity to get down here or lower. That's what I was trading. Market went back up. We see all these happy faces right here showing that it's a better selling opportunity than a buying opportunity with all of these apex signals here. And you can see my physical trade setup is right here. This is where I got involved. By the way, my break, my stop point was above this level right there. I would have exited right above
on NQ.
where we see resistance. So that was my trade setup right there. And you can see
Potential
34.
elevator on RVY.
Doesn't take long to get 34
Potential
ticks right now.
TX on RVY.
And that was what I was running
double
with, right?
TX on RVY.
So here's my sell, there's my exit. And I ended up plus 68 ticks, $680, however you want to look at it. And the EA number
Potential
60,
TX on
69.
NQ.
That's what she said, 69. You can see there is a signal here. I ignored that because I'm trading the down. I see all these happy faces here. On Apex Investing, I see that I'm looking for a continuation. This is, they call it Hidden Divergence at Apex Investing. So two of my favorite setups
Potential TX on NQ.
on Apex Investing that I try to follow, that I've learned from, are HD,
Trapped orders with
Hidden
exhaustion box
Divergence,
on NQ.
and Oscillating Divergence Detector. These two are the ones that I look at the most, trying to find this is the best trade setup on a reversal, and this is a continuation trade in the direction of the trend that is going at that point in time. Not the overall trend, just a trend that's in the chart at that
Potential TX
point.
on NQ.
So we have the 5-minute mark
Trapped orders
that we were
with
looking at.
exhaustion
We
box
saw,
on NQ.
once again, we had to have a setup bar before we got involved. So especially when you're dealing in a big, strong up, right? You need a setup bar. So here's one setup bar. Here's the other setup bar. Here's the trading bars coming down. There's the trading bars coming down on that too. And physically, if I was still trading, here's another setup bar and coming down again. So there were actually nice little setup right there, and you would have found a nice little short in that area as well. So I could have been up another 34 ticks most likely, and been up, what, 96 with 68 plus 34. 102. So I could have been up $1,000 basically on this setup if I wanted to trade one more. Once again, I'm happy above 500 on the day whenever I can get it. I had 2 wins today, no losses, no break-evens, and I didn't want to give back any of my money today. So once again, as an overall, so we wrap up this video if you're just watching the end of the video. No, that's not that one. Let's get this other one over here. This shows you the count highs and whatnot. So as a summation, I'm at 52,000 basically. The open, the auto liquidate peak balance and the account balance are basically the same because I just running with that profit target and getting out and not allowing the market to come back against me. So that allows the auto liquidate peak balance and the account balance to say the same thing. So I'm trading at the account high right now. I found that to be the best way to attack Apex trader funding to start with. Is go after profit targets
Trapped orders
and
with
try to keep
exhaustion box
yourself
on
away from
NQ.
the
Double TX on NQ.
2.5K trailing drawdown threshold that will kick your ass if you're not careful. Try not to overtrade, try not to over leverage, try not to do all those cardinal sins you know that are bad, adding to a losing position, so forth and so on. So that was my trading day. It's very simple, but it took some patience. We talked about the 5-minute chart. Dogs are barking. So 30 minutes, so we're over 10 minutes times 3 today. Annabelle, shut up. Annabelle, shut up. That's my youngest. My 18-year-old now is my youngest, believe it or not. So you've been watching. If you go back to the very first video that I put up on that Father's Day, he was a young boy, very young. I think I started in 2007 or 9 or something like that. I've been on YouTube. Anyway, lots of experience, a lot of heartache, a lot of good with the bad. Anyway, so my home now is at Apex Investing and Apex Trader Funding. You can go onto my website at YouTube and any in the description box below. You can use that coupon code and give me the credit for it. I'll get a kickback if you like that. Not just put in save 80 and you can get that discount as well. All right, so 80% off. Your trading combine is Top Step used to call it, but they call it an EA, evaluation account. 80% off with an 80% subscription cut as well. So in actuality, in the 50K, you're looking at spending about 36 bucks with taxes to get it, 36 US dollars, and then 36 on a rebuy or whatever if you keep it for the 30 days without getting into the PA. They rebill you at the same level, 80% off, 80% on the continued subscription if you don't make it within that 30 days. Usually I make I either blow the unfortunately either blow my EA or win the PA within that 30 days. What I've got to stop doing is allowing myself to trade the PA as hard as I do the EA sometimes. And I've slowed down my EA trading recently. Look at this market move, man. Talk about going down after a big up, huh?
Trapped orders with exhaustion box on NQ.
That's seeking another level right now. Let's look here. Let's call it a day. We're trying to close that gap, right? We talked about closing the gap. Does it go back to the 50,000 or 15,300 level today? Interesting. I guess we'll find out sometime tomorrow or later today, but that video will be over. Well, I wish you the best of success in your trading. We talked about my trade setups today. We talked about Apex Investing. We talked about Apex Investing. We talked about Apex Trader Funding. We talked about some of the traders that I have followed over the years and what makes them significant. I think I've given you a lot of value today. If I did, give me a thumbs up.
Potential effects
like
on
my
NQ.
video, share my video, subscribe, all that happy horse shit that other people say on YouTube. Thumbs up would be appreciated, obviously. And we'll see you on the next video I put together. It's Dave Knight here at soon to be
orders with
at some
exhaustion
time in the
box
future.
on NQ.
Dave Knight Trading. Right now, I'm on YouTube only. Bye for now. But I did not say it today was July 12th, 2023.